Right. Hello, everybody at home. We are going to get started in just a moment. We've got coverage in the classroom. It worked. If you're joining us at home, we are excited to be with you today. We're going to get started here in just a moment. I'm going to pause the recording for a moment. All right, everybody, welcome. And let me turn off my microphone there. Oh, yeah, there we go. So everybody, welcome to Investors Club. This is for both Exit Strategy Realty agents and consumers at large. I'm really excited to bring this to you today because what we've been doing over the past several months, and basically over the past almost 15 years, we've been in business at Exit Strategy Realty, is try to get both our agents and the consumers the opportunity to buy real estate, buy more real estate, empower themselves, their communities. And what we've seen over time is that we create plans. We do these vision boards. We just did vision boards last month. We had so much fun doing them. But to take a vision board and actually get that into reality, especially when it comes to something like a life-changing thing such as real estate, that takes a minute. That can take years. And so what I did was I went and I looked at what I had a small hand in it. Exit Realty Corporate did all the heavy lifting. They had these digital business plans for the agents. And we've been working in those digital business plans for agents for a while. And while we were doing that, what we found was there is some commonality between what we as agents work on and what the consumer at large is going to work on. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as we get started. And everybody in the classroom, you should have two handouts. At home. You will have, if you signed up through the Eventbrite, you've got this workbook and you've got the Project X, which is my work product, the 4x4. And these two pieces together are what we're going to work in today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And then that way we will all be on the same page as we move forward here. So this document, Keys to Success, this I took out the pieces that were realtor specific. So if you are an Exit Strategy Realty, or you catch this later and you're an Exit Realty agent, this may look familiar to you. This is the agent digital business plan, but minus the parts about agent. This today is about you as an investor, potential investor, and whether you are going to buy your first property and live there, that's your primary residence. I call that house hacking or mattress money because you're sleeping there and you're also long time putting money under that mattress through paying down on your mortgage, the appreciation of the property. And obviously, if you have buy a multi-unit building, true house hacking, you're getting rents from the other units to help you pay your mortgage. But that's not where I want to stop. I want people to think about long-term wealth, which happens when you own not just that primary residence, the mattress money, but then you introduce mailbox money to the equation. What's mailbox money? That's when you have checks, or now Venmos and Zelle and all that good stuff, Cash App, coming in from your tenants on the other properties that you own in addition to that primary residence. But what we know is no matter who we are, no matter where we're from, I've been in the real estate business 25 years. I'm 45 years old. I've made a lot of money in real estate as an agent. I've made a lot of money in real estate as an investor. I've also lost a lot of money as an investor by doing the dumb stuff. And so my vision for everybody at home and everybody that's watching today is that Exit Strategy Realty provides you with the vehicle to build long-term wealth. And what we want to do is create a mastermind of like-minded individuals. So today is the start of this. We met right here at 7300 South Cottage Grove, and you guys got to see Zeke Morris a couple minutes ago in here. He's the founder of EMA Realty. He and I joined forces to be Exit Strategy Realty on the south side here at 7300. Zeke owns the building. So he is a real estate investor. He and I have seen all the ins and outs and ups and downs of this business, both as agents and investors. And we know that it's going to take some time. over time to change your life, whether that's health and wellness, personal finance, charity and community, and of course, real estate, which is why we're here today. So today's the first of a series of Investors Club meetings that are open to both real estate agents and investors. The last Friday of January, we will meet again at 12 p.m. at 4106 Oakton, which is our Skokie office, which is our newest office. And Skokie, that building is owned by Shaheen. Shaheen also owned a small independent brokerage, merged that brokerage into Exit Strategy Realty. We're getting kind of a theme here. And he owns that building. So you'll meet Shaheen that day as well. And the incredible thing that we're trying to do here is that we want all of our locations, so we're at 4 locations, soon we'll be 5, to be agent owned. And so we really want to be in the community, not just saying, hey, it's great to own real estate, but we own with you. We also see the good and the bad, the mess that's gone on. If you've ever flipped a house, how many guys have flipped a house before? It can be great, it can be real bad. If you've ever watched CNBC's The Deed, you may know that I was on that mess because I made a mess for myself. My goal is to help you create the wealth and hopefully sidestep some of the mess. Real estate is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Let me please say that from the beginning. If somebody's telling you can make money overnight, run in the opposite direction. We as a office, we participated in the scavenger sale in February of 2022. I sat in the room at Navy Pier, spending $35, $40 a day for parking to sit there and wave my little paddle in the air and get a couple pieces of property. We still don't have possession of some of that stuff. And some of that stuff, I may have bought a storage unit accidentally instead of a parking space. I don't know what, just a bunch of mess. There is no get rich quick scheme. And so you read this stuff and you buy these info tapes that are, they don't even have CDs anymore, whatever, download the video, the workbooks, and it's all a mess. True real estate wealth is going to come slowly and over time. And we all are from different backgrounds. I have messed my credit up. I've got my credit back up to 800 several times. I would like to hope that everybody else in the room is not as dumb as me and that we'll turn around and do this a better way. But it takes time to get there. And so this is the roadmap that we're going to build out today. So this is the first document that I wanted to show you. That is that 5-year investor goals. And we're going to go over this document in a second. The second piece of that, though, is this investor template. And I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger here, so everybody at home can see this a little better. And what that is your investor goals. So Project X, that is the coaching program that I developed for Exit Strategy Realty. And it's also very applicable to everybody out there in the public. And in your investing goals, you've got to figure out what your criteria is. Because if you're saying, I want to be a real estate investor, but I don't know what I want to invest in, well, that's the first step. What do I want to invest in? Second thing, what do I need to do for my cash flow? Now, if I make all the money in the world and I'm somehow able to keep all that money, I don't have a problem with cash flow. For the rest of us, maybe we need a side hustle. Maybe we need to do better work. Maybe we need to stop spending our bonuses. For those of us in real estate, maybe we need to sell more real estate. We're at Exit, maybe we need to sponsor more agents into the company. What do you need to do? What is that plan? And it can't just be like, well, I'm going to make more money at work. How? I want to know the who, what, when, where, why, how, all of this, just like I bother our real estate agents when I ask for your business plan. So what do you need to do to increase that cash flow or keep that cash flow? I'm real good at making money. I'm terrible at keeping it. Our business manager at Exit can tell you that. That's the second thing. So your criteria, your cash flow, credit. We need good credit. No lie. That is why strategically, what do we do along with vision boards? That same night, and this stuff is all on my YouTube channel, that same night, we talked about credit. And I don't like the word credit repair. You know what that means? That means everybody else that's at a 680 or something has decided I don't want to go to that class. Credit growth, because I want to grow more credit. I want to grow more credit because I've been at every end of the spectrum with credit. And it's not just about your credit score. It's also about what? Your tax returns. Because one of the things we do as independent contractors or business owners, for those of us that are in that situation, or you've got that side hustle, you tend to put that money not in the form of a tax return. You're taking all the deductions you can. And so it makes you look like what? You make less money. So you can't take that tax return back. You have to turn around then, I mean, you can refile it or pay more money, but you need to turn around and say, okay, for next year, I'm gonna not take as many deductions. Maybe I need to earn more money, maybe I need to keep more money, maybe I need to show more money. Okay, so credit worthiness is a whole aspect of this. And you can't go like this and snap overnight. That takes time to have credit growth, right? What are those steps for that? And then on the left-hand side, capital, reserves. What's the difference between cash flow, income, and reserves? Well, income, again, I'm a great example. Sold 13-something million dollars in real estate in this down year with no team, and this year did it all on my own, not patting myself on the back. How much of that did I keep? You know, had to put money back into the business. I need to keep more money. What do you have in reserves? What is in your 401k? Do you have a 401k? Do you want to try to tap into that to take money out? You know, if you, again, have a property that you already own, what about a home equity line of credit? We've been doing classes on that. If you go back and look on my YouTube, you will realize that over the course of the last several years, we've had at EXIT Strategy Realty over 70 consumer events. And I don't even know how many realtor events to try to get you in this mindset. There are DSCR loans right now. What are those? If you don't have a job, if you have no income, but your credit is decent, and the building cash flows, it can cover PITI, payment, interest, taxes, and insurance, a DSCR loan will get you that building.
What is DSCR?
DSCR. Don't ask me to do
What is it?
that one. We got to Google. I knew that, and then I just dropped it out of my mind. DSCR. And we've got the context for that. If you're going to do your primary residence first, we've got people that are doing loans down to 580 with $500 skin in the game. 6.25% interest rate, regardless of whether those rates go back up a little bit, because it's a special program for minority census tracts. You find a property that's messed up that needs a rehab loan, there's rehab loans, both for owner occupants and for investors. There's a loan product for almost everybody. So even though the interest rates are not great, we have loan products that we know of that we are finding all the vendors, getting rid of the bad ones. You need contractors, we got contractors. We've got that lifetime concierge portal that helps you out with that. If you say that there's not the properties on the market, we will find them for you. We have a tool called ZenList that I pay for every single one of our agents to have, so every single one of our consumers can have. Kendall, we need to get you on that. Because in Chicago, in Chicagoland, our MLS, 8, sometimes 10%. In some neighborhoods, I have this on my YouTube and I think my TikTok, even though I don't really know how to use TikTok yet. 15% in some neighborhoods of the properties don't show up on Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin, or any of the portals because they're what they call private network listings, private listing network, PLN. I hate that thing. However, I can't seem to, one person voting on a board doesn't seem to get rid of it. It is what it is. And so we found a tool that powers through that. It's called ZenList. So if you don't have an agent at EXIT Strategy Realty, you can click on this video and message me and we'll find you a great agent. Or you can go on exitstrategymovesyou.com and find an agent. And if you're watching this because your agent sent it to you, go talk to your EXIT Strategy Realty agent. So we've got that tool for you. So the point of all this is we need to start by saying, where do I go? What do I need to do? What's my criteria? Because I don't want to just hear, I want to be a real estate investor. Because the first thing they're going to ask is, what type of property? What condition? Now, you may not know what condition yet, because you're kind of going, okay, well, let's start out with area. So location, what type of property? You know, I've got a guy that wants to do vacant land right now because he wants to build on it. Okay, well, what is that? Vacant land, a lot of times you can't get financing on that. That's going to have to be cash. So he's going to have to go, okay, cash flow, reserves, and then he's going to have to go back down to this little credit quadrant. Why? Because then he's going to be new construction, and that's a hard type of loan to get, especially if you're not going to be primary occupant. Okay, so there's all these different criteria that you've got to, and I can show you at the end what my investing goals spreadsheet looks like, but this is where we need to start. We need to write down this information. And then we're going to go into from there our other one. And that is the 5-year investor goals. And when we're done today, I want you all to be able to take down the number of somebody else in the room. And if you're at home and you see this later, find somebody. Maybe I've got what I call my kitchen cabinet. It's a group of close friends in different industries. We kind of hold each other accountable. Because the tough thing is to get all excited about this. I spent so many money on seminars and workshops and all this stuff over the years. And then that workbook goes in a desk drawer, and then I find it along with a protein bar because I thought I was going to go on a diet, and then something else that I was going to do 2 years ago. And it's like, then don't go. Then don't even show up. Don't spend the money. All our stuff is free. All our stuff is free. We will never charge you for a seminar or tool or anything like that, whether you're an agent or consumer. I can't stand that stuff. There's companies out there that they are a real estate brokerage that is secretly a training and consulting company charging you. That's how they make their money. That's not how we roll here. Everything we're going to do here is free. Always. I just can't stand the rest of the way some people roll. So how do we want to set this up mentally? We want to start with goals, right? But goals, a vision board is just a vision. How do I turn that into reality? So goals is step one. You guys can see that on the screen up here too and at home. Plan is step two. That's why we're here today. I love a vision board party, but man, don't tell me that that's all you're going to do. Because that vision board goes in a closet somewhere or on the wall, and you stare at that, but it's like, well, how does that go from here into reality? I just switched from a gas-powered car to an electric car. Now, that was a 3-year process because I thought I was going to do it 3 years ago. Went on Turo, rented a Tesla, ran that thing out of energy so quick, didn't listen how to charge the battery, didn't have the equipment at my house to charge the battery. Now I went back out and I'm like, okay, now I knew because I wasn't ready then. I want this now. I wanted to get it when the EV credits were going. Now next year, they're going to start rolling out the solar credits. So Zeke's talking about doing that stuff on this building. I'm talking about doing that in my condo building. We got all kinds of knowledge for you. Wayne Beals, who's with us. We're going to give him a new title, elevate him a little bit because he's so amazing with what he does in shares in the industry. Vice President of Green and Sustainable Housing. Because he's doing the knowledge building. You look at what Marky Lemons is doing with AI. We got some incredible leaders here. But we need goals and we need a plan. And then let's talk about skill. Now, I don't mean you need to go out there and learn how to be a contractor, because let me tell you who can barely paint a wall. However, as someone that literally almost lost everything to a contractor that cheated me, man's got his real estate license now. Not with us. You know what I didn't have? Skill. I didn't have skill. And I did not have the right team around me because I can't know everything. I'm a real estate agent and an investor. I'm not a mortgage lender. I've got a really good team. I'm not an insurance broker. I got a really good team. I'm not an attorney. Went to law school, didn't do very well. That's why I'm still in real estate. Did not have a good anything back in the day. And I learned that you can't be the master of everything, jack of all trades, master of none, but you have to have the great team around you. And so that's why at Exit, we've got Eve Benton, Chicago Associated Realtors, Managing Broker of the Year this year. She's our managing broker. She will help our agents when they have an issue. My job is there as the coach is to build opportunity and then have Eve help in the specific situations that they need that mess cleaned up, because we need a good team around us, right? So what skills are you missing? Do you want to learn how to do some of this work? That's going to take time. That may take a class. I will not be teaching that class. Do you want to, what do you need? Do you need to go to a credit repair class? And be careful if you're going to be class heavy and those classes are charging you money. Sometimes also, is that the highest and best use of your time? Do I need to go out and learn how to install drywall? Or do I need to stay in my lane, sell more real estate, and hire somebody that does drywall really good? Depends on what your budget and your time and your interests and talent is. So skill, what skills do you need? What skills are you missing? And then, last and certainly not least, action. And if you've got a pen and you've got this printed out on paper, right next to action, put a slash, put accountability. Because man, is it hard, especially if you live in a bubble. And what I mean by a bubble is if you're solo practitioner, or you live solo like I do, and there's nobody else there to not just cheer you on, but hold you accountable, lift you up when things are down, be a resource for you. It is very hard sometimes to get into action. I last year hit a real wall in the fall. I've talked about that with our agents. I started gaining weight, started drinking again, started doing some dumb stuff. And it's like, okay, that's not great. I had to have some accountability for that. And sometimes you got to look in the mirror, and other times you got to have other people look at you and help you. And so accountability comes with action, and action comes with accountability. So what are the action steps? So that's that first page there. And again, if you're with us, or you watch this later and you're an exit realty agent, you'd be like, well, these seem familiar to me because these are out of that digital workbook. So then this next page, it's one thing to roll in here and say, I want to be a real estate investor. I want to grow my portfolio of real estate. But it's real hard to do that when everything else in your world is going to what. If your world is in chaos, if your world is in chaos, it's not just about the money. 2021, I never made more money than that year. Man, I gotta say, it's one of the worst years of my life because it was like, boy, money doesn't fix everything. This sucks. Crying in a Range Rover, better than crying on the bus, but still not great. Did not have my life in order. So what else is there that you need to look at? Because also it's not just about real estate. That's why when I created Project X, I said it's 4 quadrants: health and wellness, personal finance, charity and community, and then real estate. Because the real estate can be a great vehicle. But if everything else is in chaos, it'll either bring the real estate down or you'll never get to opening those doors and buying those buildings. So what do you need to work on? Because that's going to be up to you. That's going to be up to you. But once you look at that, and also, why are you buying this real estate? That's the other thing. Why are you here? You can only answer that. I can't get you out of bed in the morning. I can't get you to do the right thing. I can only provide the vehicle because I got to have my own vision, right? I have to have my own value system. I have to have my own why. I can't answer that for you. But some of this, maybe it's to build a legacy for your family. I got a friend that he was the first one in his family to ever buy a condo. We were in the Chicago Tribune together. If you ever watch any of my other stuff and you see in the background, I got the little lamp and there's that green frame. That's me and him in the Tribune. I thought that was so amazing. That gets me out of bed in the morning. This gets me out of bed in the morning. But what are you buying this real estate for? What are you expanding your portfolio if you've already got real estate for? Is it family? Is it business? Because you want to sell that business someday, but why? Is it because you want to do something for the community? Is this real estate maybe someday going to be put into a trust? What do you think we're doing at the end of January on the last Friday in January in Skokie? We're talking about how to hold the real estate. Do you need to create a corporation? If you already own real estate, do you want to start putting that money into a 1031 exchange? Or do you want to start putting that into something for your family, a trust for your family? Does that mean it gets sold, or does that mean that stays in perpetuity and that starts to be the cash flow that funds maybe a parent that's sick, a kid that's got some stuff they need help with, want to help out a charity, start a 501c3, all that takes time, right? And that's where you come into this visualization. And that is where I love a good vision board. Now, I didn't have time to bring us some markers and stuff like that today, but there is a blank page at the end of this where you can start to do that. We did vision boards together. We will do them again, but you can do that at home. You can do that at any point. And I like a good marker board sometimes for that. And then I'll put pictures on top of it. If you're a visual person, like the picture of, okay, well, I want this and here's what it looks like. But you can just literally draw the board, and I don't want the board to be, and let's actually real quick, I'm gonna put a marker in here. Hold on. It'll be very, very familiar to some of you. I'm gonna draw next. And we're gonna go, okay, health and wellness. Personal finance. And actually, if you got your workbook, you can, in the last page, you can even do that. Charity, and community. And of course, over here, real estate. Because real estate can power almost all these. Can't power health and wellness unless it's gonna power what you're gonna like do with your health and wellness. But that's your vision board. I don't like it when I see a vision board that it's like all it is material stuff. Why? Why? What's powering that? What's the motivation behind that? I mean, the material stuff is fun. Don't get me wrong. I love that stuff. But why? So the visualization aspect of this. Now, here's where we get into the nitty-gritty of it. The 5-year vision. Because there's a calendar in here. I actually went back to Exit Corporate because they were Sharon Richardson, who's amazing at Exit Corporate. She showed me what they were working on. I said, you know, it doesn't have a calendar. A month by month calendar. This is not that slide yet. But the 5-year vision, it's like, okay, 5 years from now, where do I want to be? Because a 1-year plan sometimes isn't enough. I'm always on a 5-year plan. I said in 2017 that I want to be the #1 Exit Realty franchise group across the US and Canada. It took me 5 years to get there, and barely. We still got a lot of work to do. But it took me 5 years. It took me 5 years to get into real estate investing as a flipper. It took me 3 years to get out when I realized that was not where I should be. But I took a look at the end of my 20s and I said, I want to be debt free. I want to own my house free and clear. I need to pay off all my credit cards. I don't want to have a car payment. Took me from 30 to 33. Barely made it right at the end of 33. And that was because of Exit Realty, because of the residual bonuses. That's how I was able to have multiple income streams. My vision, my 5-year vision was that I wanted 2 6-figure incomes. I wanted real estate commissions. I was pretty decent at doing that consistently. But then I also wanted residual bonuses. Now I want my cash flow investment properties, not flips. That was not my strong point. You need to be on site. You need to know what's going on. I want some stuff that can be working for me in the background, true passive income. I want a 6-figure income out of that. That doesn't take away from the other 2. And then the last but not least, it's quadrants. Surprise, because it's my Project X stuff. Last but not least, the last one, I want investments that are not real estate. Mutual funds, stocks and bonds to be pumping out 6 figures. How much does that take? A lot. We are far from there. That is a 20-year plan. Not gonna make it by the time I'm 50. But I got to start the plan somewhere, right? So what is in that 5-year plan for you? And I'm not giving you time to fill this out here, but I'm going to hope you fill it out right away. And then here's where we break it down into this year. What are my goals? Okay, we had the 5-year. In 5 years, I want X, Y, Z. What does that look like this year? What's this year's? And if you wanted to, you could literally print this out and say 2024, then there's 2025, 2026, roadmap that out. We didn't get that far with this digital business plan this year, maybe next year. But then what are your goals for this year towards that 5-year plan? They got to kind of sync up. They got to work towards, one's got to work towards the other. The 1 year's got to work towards the 5-year. But I hope those 5 years are such stretch goals that you can't get them done just this year. Then it's like, what about next year? What's next? Because my vision board from the early 2012, 2013, that almost all that stuff done. Not all of it. No marriage. A couple other things I did not get done. But I could work on the rest of that, but a lot of that got done. What's next? What's the next 5-year plan? What's the next vision board? One of the most empowering things is to look back and say, I did this. Or that didn't become, that changed. That's not a priority anymore. That's not possible anymore. That changed. But what is this year's goal in each category? You may need some extra paper for that. And then what is an action plan in support of those goals? They've got to be specific. You got to break it down. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Who, what, when, where, why. The how is really the vision board. That's the other stuff in here. But the who, what, when, where. Specific, measurable, those go together. Achievable. You know, I can't go from 0 to 100. So if I roll in here and last year I did, you know, sold 10 houses. I want to sell 1,000 this year. You gotta ramp up to that. That's a long window, right? But that's a 5-year goal then. So, okay, how can I get this year from 10 to 20 to 40? You know, I've had people their first year at exit. Almost every year, we've got somebody that they sell on, they cap out. They hit 100,000 gross commission income, they cap out, they go to 100% commission because they did that the first year. It's very rare, but we seem to have that 1 or 2 people every year. But then where do they go from there? But to say I'm gonna go from 0 to 100, you know, it's not always realistic. What's achievable? And is that relevant to you? If I say, well, I want to win the lottery, okay, well, is that achievable? But also, is that relevant to what you said you wanted to come in here in this room and do? You said you want to buy some real estate, which is achievable. Is that goal relevant to any of this? And then time bound. I want to know the measure of time it's going to take for you to get there. In other words, if I want to sell 100 houses, by when? In what period of time? Because if I say I want to own 20 rental properties, is that all at once? Is that by next week? Is it by 5 years from now? When is it? It's got to be time bound. And then how do we organize our time? How do we time box? I don't call it time blocking because that to me has a negative connotation. I call it time boxing. How am I going to box out the time to get to these goals? So if I need to clean up my credit, that's going to take at least an hour a week. Why is that? I got to figure out where to get the money. Do I need to make calls to clean up that credit, to grow that credit? Do I need to get to know more lenders? Do I need to start interviewing lenders? Do I need to start interviewing credit repair people? Do I need to go to my CPA and say, what do I need to do to change the way my taxes look? What are my time boxes? Boxing time. Is it, I've got a box time to go out and source the properties? Do I need to research the neighborhoods? What are those boxes of time? And then I don't want to hear just, I want an hour a week. When are they? If you go on my calendar, I literally have 2 hours a day for lead generation. You know, I need to put back in there an hour a week to go look at my money. Because it seems like I only look at it when I run out of it. Not good. Don't go the way of Nick. But I want to see that. I want to see that. Your accountability partner should ask you, okay, when are you say you want to do X, Y, Z. You know, somebody's got a friend of mine's driving Uber to save up the extra money because they know they're capped out at work, not in the good way, like an exit agent that's hit 100% commission. Capped out as in they can't make any more money there. But that's their job. They've been there a while. They like the benefits. So that friend of mine and client of mine is going to go drive Uber. And they're going to put that Uber money into a savings account so they don't touch it. And that's going to be the money to buy their next investment property. Okay, so that's great. You're halfway there. So who, what, when, where, when? But when are you going to do that? You're going to time box for that. So organizing your time. Business skills. So what are the skills either you need to get, you need to research, and again, that goes back up to, well, okay, how am I going to do that? Where am I going to do that? When am I going to do that? Time boxing for that. Or is that someone I'm going to do what? Leverage. I'm going to hire that out. I'm going to leverage somebody else. I'm going to go find a credit repair person. I'm going to go find a real estate agent to help me. I'm going to go find a great lender. Or I'm going to do some of this stuff myself. And then where, who, what, when, where, why on those business skills. And when you say where you need to improve, that improvement can be, I'm not going to go learn how to hang drywall. I need to go find a drywaller. And when am I going to find the time to go research and find that person? Unless you've got a good real estate agent that can help you with that. And maybe a team around you, maybe some friends that want to mastermind with you, pool the resources together. Changes and solutions. So it says challenge, but challenge means you got to make a change, right? Got to make a change. The challenge is in front of you. The change is going to be how you get to the solution. And so that's just a couple examples. What are your challenges? Is my challenge time? Is my challenge money? Is my challenge credit? Is my challenge family or friends that are naysayers? You got some haters, you got some just negative people that want to mire in the muck with you. Want you mired in their muck. Misery loves company. Do you need to switch up your group a little bit? Do you just need to tune some stuff out? Do you need to fix something that's going on up here or somewhere else in order to get into the rest of this? Because again, this doesn't happen overnight, and you got to be in a good situation all around you. How is that? What are your challenges? And what are some of the solutions? Now, what I always have done is I'm like, okay, I got all the stuff in here in place, but I don't always know what's gonna get in front of me. None of us do. Hindsight's 20/20. Foresight, I don't teach that class. But maybe get into some business with people that, are masterminding with people that have run into some problems, that have, like what we're talking about today. I've run into IRS issues, I've run into credit issues, I've run into XYZ stuff that could have been done differently. Go to some people that aren't charging you for this and just learn some free advice. Some people that are honest and transparent. And that's what we're going to provide for you here. Because you look at what, you got Zeke, me, Marky, Eve, you got people all around you that they've been through all kinds of stuff in real estate. And they've been through all kinds of stuff in life. It's good to have people around you that they're not always winning, because, Instagram and social media is a highlight reel. And sometimes real life doesn't get on there. So I like to be a little bit more transparent about stuff. What are your potential challenges? And again, you're not going to know everything, but let's at least lay out what we know or potentially could know is going to be out there. Affirming your position. Now, I was never a big fan of affirmations. I'm like, I don't need that. Until I kind of got into a rut. And when I came to EXIT Realty in 2008, I was almost bankrupt. Like I had spent all my money. The real estate market was shifting. I was changing which part of the business I was in. And I kind of didn't even know what I needed to do affirm at that point. And so EXIT came out with a little app called Prompter. And you don't need to be an EXIT agent. You don't need to be a real estate agent to use it. You just text the word Prompter, Prompter. I'll write this down for everybody up here. There's Prompter, Prompter. You text that word to the number 85377. What that's going to do, you can download that app for free, and it will literally tell you the prompts you need to, and they'll choose them at random until you get good enough. You want to maybe do it on your own, but I got to tell you, I sometimes just like to use that app because it's telling you things that you maybe want to do in life or aspire to. When I came to EXIT, they hadn't launched Prompter yet. They didn't even have the app. They didn't even have the app probably in their mind yet, but they would send them out weekly. And there was one it was all about finances, and my finances were a mess. I wouldn't even know what to affirm that I wanted to look forward to or be. And they came out with a list of 10, and I literally still have that thing. The paper is yellow now, but it's sitting in my closet, and it's all the 10 things that I wanted to aspire to, but I would have not put that down on paper myself. I need to be prompted to know even what to affirm, because that's where my head was at. So there are some really great affirmations. They just listed a few. You can come up with your own, write them down, journal them. But sometimes it's like that. I don't even know where I need to go because maybe I'm in an environment that does not want me to grow or does not feel like it wants me to grow. So what else is out there for you? And then this is where, up there, what happened? There we go. Got animated and knocked our connection out there. This is part that I'm like, hey, wait, this is all great, but we need a calendar. Because you need to plan ahead and start putting some dates down to stuff. Break things down month by month. So if I know I've got a bonus coming in April, or if I know that I've got a big seminar I want to go to in March, if I know that I want to plan a vacation around something, if I know taxes are due, that can be a negative thing or it can be a positive thing, because guess what? Maybe you're getting a tax refund. If you're getting a refund, could that go towards something in real estate? Could that go towards your down payment on something? What does your calendar look like? What could be on your calendar? That's that who, what, when, where, why. Is this something that, you want to go back to a trade school for something? You want to start planning to go to investor meetups. You want to start coming to our stuff. This is where you would put that down. Even if you don't necessarily know the date yet, general goal deadlines, events, put your vacations in there, work around them. But that is your monthly calendar. I will bet you, because I'm going to beg for it, by next year, we'll have like the week at a glance type situation. You can do the time boxing right in there. But guess what? You can pull your phone out right now and start doing the time boxing. Put a calendar event and then make it repeat weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, daily, whatever that is. That's your time boxing. Box that time out daily, maybe weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, to check in with yourself, check in with somebody else. You know, you can always come to all our stuff. Always come to all our stuff. You already know when's the next thing coming up for this Investors Club. Last Friday of January at 12 p.m. at our Skokie office. So that all being said, this last page of notes is where you can start outlining out what you need to do. And I actually have a sample of what mine looks like. You can draw a big X in there if you want to. And let me show you. And this is that template page that you've got. I'll show you what my template page looked like. Let me blow this up for us a little bit. There it is. So there's my investing goals. And these have changed slightly from when I first did this, but I have my criteria. I have my cash flow. I had my credit there at the bottom. Move this thing up to the top.
You know what? I don't want-
Mm-hmm.
want that high
Oh,
floating.
can you come to every event I ever had?
You see where it says high? It's-
Yep, high video pin or high.
Right.
There we go. There we go. So that credit part, that's a big one. For a lot of us, it's going to be that cash flow. We need more cash coming in. Or do we need to just save more of it? What do we need to do with our taxes to be more credit worthy, credit growth?
What do you mean by desires?
So desires is like, what are some of the, not needs, but wants of that property? So, for example, my location would be like a neighborhood or a set of neighborhoods, but then within that neighborhood, what am I looking for? So do I want a property that I can live in? Desires, I want a private outdoor space for me because I'm gonna buy a 4-unit or 3-unit. Type of property, again, you know, is it vacant land? Probably not. A lot of us are gonna go straight into the properties that can be not turnkey, but maybe close to turnkey. You know, I don't need to rezone it. I don't need to build it. I may need to rehab it. And then what are my needs, my absolute needs versus desires? I would give up parking if it had everything else I want, right? So needs versus desires is a great question, Kenna. So what questions do you guys have or at home on this?
I just want to eventually get a 6 flat. That's kind of my goal, and so that's what something I guess I'll start working on with the plan we just, you know, gave us. But I wanted something earlier than 5 years. I really want something in the future.
So let's think about that. Let's use that as an example then. Okay, so a 6 flat. It's right over here, even though probably at home you can't see me too well. So a 6 flat, what do we know? And this is where a good real estate agent, a good lender is going to come in. Unless we're rolling in cash, then they'll see you outside in the parking lot. 6 flat, what do we know? 1 to 4 unit, that could be a house hacking situation. Even in most cases that you live in a 6 flat, a 5-unit or above, that's going to be a commercial loan. So a commercial loan's a whole different animal. Do we have a commercial lender connection? So we're going to talk about financing because that's a different property type. And then we got to start doing the research because, okay, based on that financing, what areas would that be, right? I am going to guess that most of us probably aren't gonna roll in there and buy something, or the best price or value won't be the stuff that's nice. We're gonna find something that needs some work. So that means contractors, unless we're doing the work ourselves. I'll see you outside in the parking lot if you are handier than me, because you are. So contractors, so your team. And then right after that, what's our timeline for that? Because based on all of the above, what's our timeline? And let me give you a word of advice. I always use some of my friends and examples and stuff. My friend Brent's like, if you're already ready, you don't need to be ready. You know, if you're born ready, you don't have to get ready. If you're ready for this stuff, because your credit's right, the taxes are right, or you've gotten it right, you can sit there and wait. I have another friend that's really a lot smarter than me in business that says you should always be ready for a situation, whether it's defense or offense. And that was when I look at the 2010, 11, 12 real estate market, I saw the people that were ready, were born ready, they didn't have to get ready. They were grabbing up the stuff when the shoe dropped. That's not going to be the market we see anytime soon, we don't think. But what about that property owner that's in distress? That one property owner, 'cause there's just not a lot of foreclosures right now. What about your neighbor that, you know, they got stuff going on, they got a health issue, and they're like, hey, I need to get out of here. What's quick? If you're not ready yet, let's get you ready. But that takes time. That takes time. And that takes a team, and it takes goals, measurable goals. So, but that's where we would go with that, is like, okay, well, once I've figured out money's gonna be a huge part of this. Money's a huge part of it. And then your timeline. I don't wanna wait 5 years. Okay, well, that means I gotta ramp up some of this other stuff probably. And if I'm ready now, where do I spend my time? Probably bird dogging it yourself, searching for it, getting the right team around you to help you with that. That's a great example. You can't read my serial killer handwriting? Areas, because I can tell whether somebody's serious by, like, they don't have a price, they don't have an area. I just want a good deal. Well, I want a good deal too, but I gotta tell you, I was sitting on all those websites waiting for the right electric car that I wanted. I found somebody that, yeah, that was the best deal, I think. You know, if I need a plug in later, let me know. Battery went out. No, but you've got to research so you're ready. And a lot of it is, what do I want? If I don't have my criterion, I just want a good deal. You know, no, I need to know what I'm looking for. I need to know what I'm looking for. And understand that, one of the things I love about Zenlist is Zenlist now, as a consumer, you can go in there and you see all the different stuff. You can make your own filters. So you can start doing that research. Because if you go and do a traditional MLS search, it's getting kind of geeky, but go to a traditional MLS search that your realtor set you up on there, that's a filter. You can create all your own filters and overlays. And as a realtor at our office, because I'm an RPR certified trainer, I'm teaching you guys how to go in and do the research on the back end that even goes a lot deeper than what's on Zenlist. But the Zenlist information, they can even see what's sold around them in the area. It's a great tool for you, whether you're a buyer, seller, renter. Just start watching what's going on in your area. Set up filters in other areas. Just start doing some research. It's a really, really good tool. It's free to everybody. So we're going to get you on that. Other questions? These are good questions. How about at home? Well, you know me, guys. I like to try to keep it to an hour. I got ADD. And I want you to start filling this stuff out. Linda. Yes.
It's if you have, because I think that's probably one I'm qualified for. I mean, everyone, if you have explain your things you need.
So DSCR, that is a property dependent loan. And what I mean by that is it's not looking at you. You gotta be breathing. This is not, again, these are not get rich quick things, but you've got to be breathing with decent credit, but they're not looking at your income to support that property. They're looking at the property to be self-sustainable. And so if the property is self-sustainable and you are credit worthy, you don't have to have the income to support that property. So it's great for people that have taken a bunch of tax exemptions, that are retired or semi-retired, that are They got a solid job, they pay their bills on time, but they're not making a lot of money, but they found a property that does cash flow. And it will cover its own expenses.
Yeah, it's the debt service coverage ratio.
Debt service coverage ratio. Again, like every training, no, I need help.
Well, I mean, I didn't know it, but it makes sense. It
And
covers the debt, and can that property cover that debt?
Cover that.
Mhm.
And that's another great thing with Zenlist is they've got a mortgage calculator right in there. They've got a mortgage calculator right in there. So okay, we know the expense, we know the income. And we know the expenses, we know what that mortgage is gonna be. And with the multi-unit buildings, watch the market times right now. You know, single family homes, condos, not a lot of inventory, short market times, but some of them even sit. You know, something with a long market time, that's just got the wrong price. And maybe that owner can afford to do a different price. What price? There's a price for everything. There's a value, there's a price point, a tipping point where something becomes a value. No matter what condition, no matter what area. You know, unless it's on top of a waste dump and it can't be built, but there's not a lot of that. Most everything, it either can be fixed up, the price dropped, a combination of both to make it worth your time. But will the owner give you the time to have that conversation, give you the time of day? That we can't answer that on the way in. That's a lot of times knowing what you want, doing the research, and then making some attempts. I tried to buy my condo that I'm in, one of the best deals I ever got. Still the lowest price, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo ever in the history of the MLS in Lakeview, in my neighborhood. Ever, even go back through the archives. I stalked that thing for almost a year. Made crazy low bids, watched it keep coming back up because it had some issues, still has some issues 12 years later. But I knew what I wanted, and I knew, and I had to get into a position that I could pounce on it, and then still took the rejection. My timeline was somewhat flexible. So I just kept going back at it. Probably not gonna happen. The first thing you roll in and you instantly buy it, or you instantly get it, I'm like, is that a good deal? Did you know, did you just jump on the first thing that you saw? Doesn't always work that way. Again, this is not a get rich quick thing. Buy real estate and wait. Don't wait to buy real estate, because that's the other piece of this, is that the people that are saying, oh, I'm gonna wait till interest rates go down. Well, if they go down too quickly, guess what's gonna happen? Everyone's gonna run out and buy, and the prices are gonna go up. So you didn't get the best deal. I'd rather buy real estate and wait. I had people telling me, oh, you should have waited longer. The prices are gonna go down further. This is back when I bought my place. They didn't. I hit it right at the bottom of the market by accident. I was actually trying to buy it when it was 6 months out from the bottom of the market. It just happens that I got it the month the prices went the lowest. If you look at what I did wrong with the North Avenue office for exit, I parked too long in there. I got distracted by other things. I should have bought a property that I looked at in 2016. I was doing the flips, didn't do it. And I said, well, I'm gonna wait till the what? Prices go down. They didn't. They still haven't gone down in commercial. And instead I paid, until we were out of there, almost $1 million. Oh no, over $1 million in rent. Nice landlord. Shouldn't have given him $1 million. Sat, stagnant, distracted, not ready to pounce on other stuff. And when there was something that I wanted to buy, I wasn't in a position to buy it. I'm like, man, come on. If you're born ready, or you don't have to get ready. If you get ready, you are ready.
So would you recommend getting the math first, like figuring out, before you start looking, figuring out what you could be financed for based on your credit history, based on get all the numbers in place. Because sometimes you start looking and you go, I want that, and then you find out you can't get financed for that. So then, it could be a little, disheartening. You just stop, like, I can't get what I want, but at some point, we all have to start at the bottom, so you get the numbers first.
Yes.
Okay, because you can put me on this list now, I'll put all the filters in, and
Yep.
like, oh my God, because my eyes are bigger than my stomach, type of.
But so that's it. So you bring up a great point, because what is your first starting point? I would say getting Zenlist and then having a conversation with the lender. And then if you don't like the answers, don't lender shop, but come back to me, come back to your agent and say, well, this is what they told me, because there's two pieces to that equation. Number one, what can I afford? So what is my affordability? AKA budget. And then number two, what do I need to do to increase or decrease? What do I mean by increase? Increase your budget or decrease your expectations. Because if I get pre-approved for, say, $200,000 and they say that's your budget, do I need to say, okay, well then I'm going to go to a different area that has $200,000 blank, or I'm going to go to a messed up one that I can fix up and I can get a rehab loan? I can lower my expectations, or I can increase my assets in order to qualify for more. I can increase what? Goes right back to cash flow and my reserves. Do I need to put more money down? Do I need to make more money in order to put more money down? So what do I need to fix my credit? Do I need to grow my credit? And again, this could be a multi-year process, but to not know what you're dealing with, to not know A, the market, so that's Zenlist, and B, your affordability, your budget at this moment. Because yeah, I've got some things I'd like to buy right now. Not what I want. I got champagne, champagne taste on a beer budget. Bad, but stale beer. But I know where I need to go because I've talked to the people that I need to talk to.
Yeah, because when I look at this, my eyes go right to the top. Like, I'm gonna start at criteria, but then if I don't start in the other places first, then criteria has to get redone. Because
Yep. So
expectations and.
1, 2.
Yeah.
And the thing is that I'd rather have you have Zenlist up front so you can start tracking the market.
Mhm.
And also it's fun to say, okay, well, if you get a no altogether, you are not viable to get any type of loan right now. We got to go back to credit, period. What happened? What do we need to fix? What do we need to work on? But if you get a small note where you could afford XYZ, oh, well, that's not what I wanted. Okay, well, I'd like to play around and say, what is in that price range then? Because maybe I want to adjust my expectations. Or if that's what I have now, what is close to that? What's the next stepping point up? Or do I need to really step it up? Because again, buy real estate and wait. Don't wait to buy real estate. So if I need to adjust my expectations or make those quicker increases versus saying, well, I'll buy when I get a better job, but I'm not even trying to look for a job. Or, I'll buy when I have a PhD, but I haven't gotten out of college yet. Okay, that's, there's a situation for everybody and a scenario for everybody, but it starts with those conversations. Get on Zenlist, get with a good lender, and a lot of that's just going to be talking to your EXIT Realty agent. All right, guys, any questions at home? So we are very thankful for you guys being here today. Follow me on social media if you're seeing this. We will always be continuing to do these events: health and wellness, charity and community, personal finance, and obviously real estate. And get an accountability partner from in here or out there in the real world. Get some kitchen cabinet, a good mastermind of your friends, maybe some family members. Cut out the negative and focus on the positive. All right, guys, we will stay in the classroom for a little bit after this, but we're going to stop the recording. Thanks at home.